All right, it is time now once again for the Don and Eli Take on the World podcast. My name is Elias Melas, but you can call me Eli for short. And who is this lovely and incredibly patient lady to my right? You've been very, very patient lately. A lot has been going on. Who are you?
Well, I'm Don Ledgerwood, and thank you for saying that. You really don't need to say that I'm patient. I'm your partner, and I support you, and I love you. So, we will have our time.
So you're my partner. I mean, I asked you, who are you?
And I said Don Ledgerwood.
Right, and then before that you were saying, you don't have to pay me props and pat me on the back.
I'm your partner in life.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah. We're there when we need each other, and, if I need more attention, he gives it to me. If he needs more attention here, I let him have it. Like, we really work it out really well, I think.
Okay, wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you, baby. All right. Welcome back to another episode of the Don and Eli Take on the World podcast. This is episode number 35. And today, the topic is, what is the GNA and big plans for 2026? One more time. Episode number 35 of the Don and Eli Take on the World podcast is about what is the GNA and big plans for 2026. All right. Well, I've got to tell you, today's show is going to be a little bit different than what we normally do. It's going to be completely raw and on the fly. No script, no Reddit postings, no other articles. Nothing but Don and I sharing our thoughts about the GNA, our organization, the January Networking Association, and where we're headed in 2026. There's lots of great stuff coming, and we want to make sure that you truly understand what the purpose of the organization is, and we're going to talk about that here today. But before we get to that, first of all, as always in our monologue here, how has the past week been for you, my love? It's been another interesting week here at the GNA, right?
Yeah, and it's also been a wonderful week. Lots of plans going on for the upcoming holiday.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. I had another session of acupuncture.
Oh, yeah.
Which was great. Physical therapy is going really well. And so it's just been a really great week for me.
Yeah. It's been a great week for you. It's been a great week for me, but another very, very busy week. There are lots of things going on at the GNA. And again, I don't want to make this show about, the ongoing litigation that I have against another YouTuber. That is a small part of it. It is going to be at least that's actually a big part of what's going on, but we don't want to, make it the highlight of our content, especially all the time. But what's been going on has tremendously affected us from reaching our target audience. There's been a massive smear campaign on me for years. It continues to this day with this one creator. And, we just want to first of all put out there that, if you're hearing things about us on the internet, more than likely most of what you're hearing is not true, stemming from this one creator I'm in litigation with. Just ignore it. Give us a chance. Join us. If you're on the audio-only podcast network, there's a link to the video version of this video that'll take you to our main YouTube channel, GNA, Genuine Personal Development. While you're there, within the description section of that YouTube video of our podcast, if you go a couple lines down, you will see a link to GNA2, Genuine Live Personal Development, where I go live, if not every day, almost every day from my walks. I do Walking with Purpose streams. Sometimes Don joins me. Sometimes we do in-studio live streams in a similar format as these podcasts, on the YouTube end of things where you can see the video. Sometimes we do On the Couch with Don and Eli. Sometimes we do Driving with Purpose if we're going like on a long trip or something. Sometimes we We'll do a Driving with Purpose stream. So just connect with us, give us a chance, and allow us to get to know you, and you can get to know us. We're really good people, and we really care about making the world a better place. One step at a time, one day at a time. And with the internet nowadays, babe, it's become very, very challenging. We're going to have a heavy focus on, cleaning up the internet, the bullying, the harassment, the hate, the outrage, and all that, the drama. We're gonna play a bigger part in 2026 on turning things around. So give us a chance. Now, what else, babe? Anything else? Regarding this past week, or it's just been pretty simple for you?
It's been pretty simple. I know that you've been working pretty hard in here, on your current shows that you're doing, your walks and all of that, but also the other stuff that you have to deal with this case you're going through. So during this time, I try to not really request too many things from him because I know he needs this time. And then when this is all over, then we have all the time in the world.
Oh, yeah. No, we're going to definitely have
it's going to be a long vacation after all of this.
Well, I think I definitely know we're going to occupy a lot of our time in helping other people throughout our days with our live content, our pre-recorded content on and off of YouTube. And, I feel a little guilt because I'll just be honest, the amount of time that it's taken to deal with this civil case. It's a defamation case. It's a malicious prosecution case. It's an abusive process case and an intentional infliction of emotional distress case. Even though Don's been very understanding, I feel very guilty. I am a pro se litigant. I am representing myself, and at least as of this current time that we're recording this, the defendant is pro se. That may change. If that changes, we'll update you on that. But when you're a pro se litigant in a very complex civil case, full blown circuit civil case, it takes a lot of time, especially if the person that you're suing continues to do what he got sued for, and not only continues to do it, but amplifies it, amps it up. I just, I don't know. Go ahead.
You're right. No, I was just agreeing with you. You're right.
I was almost thinking, maybe he knows he's probably going to lose this case. I'm not trying to predict the future, or I'm not trying to be cocky or anything. I'm
no, but you know what? In order to have this case go and still remain positive throughout it, that's the ticket, and you're doing that.
Right. But what I was going to say, babe, was that maybe he feels he's going to probably lose the case. And he's thinking, I'm going to drive Eli crazy, forcing him to make all of these court filings, taking all his time away from his, girlfriend and family and all that. I mean, here's the thing, if he continues to do things that require me to file something, I got to do it. You understand. I understand. Eventually, like you said, it's going to be over, and we're going to be able to just completely focus on really building a bigger and better audience. Our audience is great right now. We love the people that support us and that are our friends. But we really want to expand this message. And when there's been a 6 to 8 year constant smear campaign on you, with defamation and false accusations of criminal activity that have never happened, taking other instances out of context like many people do on YouTube. There are lots of people that do that. This guy is relentless. This guy has made it his life to harass and defame me, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I'm mentioning it at the beginning here. It just seems like, because the amount of time it takes to harass and defame someone like that, and the amount of effort, it's a daily thing.
It's got to be exhausting.
It's got to be exhausting, yeah, even for him. I mean, it's exhausting for me, but I find the strength to, number one, now address it head on. And, if he and his, audience continue to smear me, I'm just going to keep on defending myself at this point, because we are in a circuit civil case, and any new people that come around, we don't want them getting the wrong ideas of us, the wrong opinions of us,
Yeah.
And so that is that. So anyway, what else, babe? Anything else that you want to talk?
Yeah, no, we can just jump right on in.
Yeah, okay, great. Today's show, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, yeah.
Today's show is only going to be about 90 minutes long, so it'll be a shorter show. We want to keep it short and sweet. We want to share the nuts and bolts of the GNA, what we're all about, how we can help people, and where we're headed in 2026. And if you see our background there, baby, you see that? It says 2026. It's a nice, festive holiday background.
Yes, as we go into the holiday season.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
Yeah, so I chose that because, first of all, I figured you would like it, and that means a lot to me.
Well, yeah.
And second of all, it's just a cool background.
I am very much getting into the holiday season.
We're heading into the holidays.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving is right around the corner. Next thing you know, it'll be Christmas, and then the New Year will be right around the corner as well.
Yeah.
And, for me, babe, I always start planning the New Year 3 to 4 months ahead.
Yes.
Come September or October at the latest, typically in September, I really start to think and plan the New Year. And that's what people need to do. You don't want to get caught with your pants down. Once that, it used to be an apple, but now it's a ball in New York.
Mm-hmm.
The Big Apple, when the
it was never an apple that fell. It's always been a ball.
No, I understand.
Okay, but yes.
Haven't they used a ball like in the shape of an apple in the past, and now it's just a ball?
No, it's never been.
It's always been a ball, huh?
Yes.
Okay. I know your mother was born in the state of New York, and
in Brooklyn,
and I know that you were actually born out there too,
in Staten Island.
Yeah, and then at 3 years old, you became a California girl.
Actually, we moved down to Texas for a short time.
Oh.
Before we made it out. My mom went to Texas, and then she went home back to Staten Island. And that's where she met my father.
Right. All of George Strait's exes live in Texas.
Yeah, right?
Right.
That's where my mom left one.
Don't worry. I'm not going to sing today. I'm not going to. There's not enough time for me to sing today. The show is going to be a little bit shorter.
Yeah. And so my mom left an ex in Texas. And then she met my father after that when she went back to Staten Island.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah. So anyway, let's get into discussing, what the GNA is, why I started the GNA. I mean, we did a stream on that earlier on this year. Can't remember the episode number. It was one of the first 10 episodes that we did, I believe. So I'm not going to get into that much detail, but I really want to focus more on giving people the nuts and bolts of how we can help people, what we can actually do to help people. And, a lot of people may not realize it, but I think the most important thing to turn anything around, if you're feeling sad, lonely, miserable, depressed, if you're feeling unhappy within yourself, I think the first thing that's important is to, talk to somebody about it that you trust. And if you don't have someone like that, or if you just want like a neutral, kind, caring, loving third party, that's what we are. Emotional support is one of the most important things, for anyone regarding anything, but especially if you're struggling with self-love, self-worth, if you're struggling to find your purpose, whatever that may be. What are your thoughts?
Oh yeah, no, that's exactly my thoughts. You know, I'm not a therapist. I'm not a counselor. I want that on the record. But I've learned a lot through therapy, and I've learned a lot when I got help from my alcohol addiction.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that we learned in that was to make a list of 3 self goals for the next day. You do this every day, and you give yourself 3 things that you would want to accomplish that day in order to make yourself feel better. So this could go from, you know, like being really upset about some clutter. You need to do some spring cleaning or something.
Right.
You know, you kind of get into a funk, and yeah,
you get stuck in a rut, right?
Yeah, stuck in a rut.
Yeah.
And then it's like you push things off in time too. You're like, okay, it's not really bothering me. I'll wait till I'm done with this. And then something else will come up. And then something else. And so it's like you never get to it.
This world is so busy, babe.
Yeah.
And the internet has made it busier because we can do more things at once. So, you know, we're tackling on more things. And it's not that we want to push back anything. I think the proper way to look at it, or I feel the proper way to look at it is a better way to say it. This is how I handle it. I prioritize things in order of importance. Everything's important. But, you know, if you have a list of 50 things to do, you've got to get the first 10 done that are urgent and have, you know, a time-sensitive due date, right? Obviously, if an emergency happens, that supersedes everything. But I think one thing that people struggle with, and one thing that we can definitely help people with, learn to better understand, is time management. Yes, I have struggled with it. And yes, I know we can always get better at it. You've told me.
Same with myself.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is that in my heart and soul, regardless of how it's come off to you or other people, I've always tried to manage my time in order of importance. And I push myself to the maximum limit. I try to do as much as possible. I try to squeeze as much juice as I can out of every second of every day. Not every minute, every second.
Yeah.
So that's why sometimes I take things right down to the wire, including when we have appointments. I know the exact time we need to get there. I know when the appointment is scheduled. I know we have a 15-minute window beyond that. And so it's not that I'm trying to be late or anything or wait till the last minute. I'm trying to squeeze as much juice out of each second of every day because there's just so much going on, right?
Yeah. And that's why, you know, it's like you've talked before. You've got your routine in the morning, you know, when you get up, you're checking your emails, you're catching up on what might have happened overnight, you know, and then you start, quote unquote, the chores of the morning,
right?
You know, feeding the dogs and making sure they, you know, have everything they need for the day. Bochi goes outside, all of that stuff you're doing. And then it's like 2.5 hours later, you're making your coffee before you even sit down. So none of that stuff builds up throughout the day. You get it done in those seconds, those crucial hours, and then you're able to go to work.
Right. There's at least typically anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes worth of daily chores before I even start to grind my beans.
Yes.
When I get up. There's a lot of responsibility. And if I was single, that would be far less. But I now have a lovely lady I live with. We've got 2 dogs. When you're living with people and you have kids, pets, a significant other, right? Your level of responsibility quadruples overnight.
Yes, yeah, it does.
That means it's going to take longer for you to start your days. And you have to, you know, you have to find your balance. You have to find, you know, your way on how to manage that as best as possible so it doesn't affect the life you had before that person came in your life. Like, I love Dawn. I'll do anything for her. But just because you're with someone doesn't mean you completely change your life for them. They accept you because they like the way you were before you met them, and vice versa, right, babe?
Yeah, it's a matter of...
But then you learn to also compromise. But go ahead.
Yeah, you just adapt. You adapt to your surroundings. And you look and see where the adjustments need to be made for that other person in your life. You know, you might not be able to do things in the exact order that you would have done without me living here.
Right.
You know, and that's what changes, but you adapt and it just becomes your routine. Like, you really start to forget almost how life was before this.
Well, I haven't forgotten, but you know, it's like I like the life that I have now, that we have now.
Yes.
And you know, it's like, I'll be honest with you, you know, if I had to go back to being single, I'm so used to doing things at a faster pace and doing so much more that I'd probably get bored because I'd get things done too quickly, you know. And that's
well, and that's me. It's
yeah.
Like, he gets like, because he waits till the last minute. He's so anxious and like, okay, babe, we gotta go, you know. And I'm like, dude, I'm sitting here waiting for you, you know.
Yeah.
But it still causes a little anxiety for him. So I always make a point to be completely 100% ready to walk out that front door before he is. So just to help him with his anxiety.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, everyone gets anxious at times. Yes, including myself. I don't have a clinical diagnosis of anxiety like Dawn has, but even then, everyone has anxious moments. Especially when you have a lot of responsibility and you really care and love for your family, like including Dawn, the dogs, my mother, my brother. You know, it's like when you have a lot more responsibility and you don't want to let anyone down, and that includes yourself, because you still have to find time for yourself. Because if you take care of everyone else, if I take care of Dawn, my mother, my brother, other family members, and then I don't
have to leave time for yourself.
And then I don't take care of myself. That's not going to make me feel good. That's going to wear me down.
It's not going to help the people you're trying to help.
Right. Man, the little dog is really sniffing around the big dog, and the big dog keeps telling the little dog, no. You can hear the growling. It's probably coming through somewhat on the microphones. But
yeah,
anyway.
He's just saying, leave me alone, bro.
Yeah, they'll wear down after a little bit, like they always do.
Let me rest in peace.
Oh,
not rest in peace.
Not in that context.
Not in that context. But let me sleep here.
Meaning, let me relax and take a nap peacefully.
Yes.
Like that type of rest, you know.
Yes.
It's funny how we always think of the worst when we hear a certain phrase that has multiple meanings, right?
Yes.
We hear rest in peace, we're thinking, oh, you know, someone's passed away or something.
Yes.
Right? But someone may just want to take a nap and rest peacefully.
Yeah.
Take a nice nap without interruptions.
Just saying, I would like to rest in a peaceful setting.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, you know, in 2011, I started the GNA. Because shortly before that time, I made the transition from being an employee in the corporate workforce. I worked a lot of retail management jobs, and I just wanted to do something better for myself. I wanted to work for myself. I wanted to make my own schedule. I wanted to have more flexibility. And during that time, you know, this was about 15, 16 years ago. The internet was just starting to, you know, get more intense with video and podcasting and all that type of stuff. You know, people were starting to get faster internet connections. The internet's been around like 30, 35 years, but it used to be dial-up, and there's no way you could do any of the stuff we do today on dial-up. But I made the transition, and I sold insurance for many years, and then about was four, like almost five. I think it's been almost 5 years now, like 4.5 years, since I sold my book of business and stopped selling insurance. I'm still actively licensed. I will be renewing my licenses that expire the end of January this coming year in 2026. But
so you sold your book like a couple months before we started dating.
No, it was like, I think it was almost a year. So, and like, it was like maybe 6 months to a year before. So yeah, it's been closer to 5 years. Yeah, it's been closer to 5 years.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So, again, I wanted to do something. I enjoyed at the time selling insurance. I enjoyed being self-employed and being an entrepreneur. But when I started networking, and I joined the Chamber of Commerce, and then I started attending other private networking events. They're public events, but run by a private party, right? I met a lot of people. Then I started joining some major organizations that were just exploding during that time. There was a group called Successful Thinkers. I helped run some events for them. And then I said, okay, I want to start my own networking organization, because when I was networking, yes, I was doing it to sell insurance, and to, make clients. But I made so many friends. Everyone becomes a friend. Like, you start to build a network of people that you get to know, like, and trust. And it made it fun. Networking is fun. And what's more fun than meeting great people, driving all over Northern California, meeting great people, referring business to them when you or someone needs your services, and they refer business to you when, they know someone that needs your services, right?
Yeah.
I really started to love the networking aspect even more than selling insurance. And that's the truth of the matter. A lot of these groups that I attended were not only there to help you meet your next power partners or possible clients, but most of them taught personal development. And I've always, well, not always, but starting in my early 30s, I really started to love personal development, where before that time, I didn't. I thought it was a scam. I used to think Tony Robbins was a scam. I've shared the story many times before. I'm not going to share it in detail again today. But I thought Tony Robbins was a scam because he'd come on those late night commercials and he would scream from the top of his lungs and he would say, "The power is within you and you are the power," blah, blah, blah. And back in those days, when I was like in my teenage years, in my early to mid 20s, I was like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
Who the fuck does he think he is?
Right?
And it wasn't until NBC that cancels every great show. And
we were just talking about that last night.
Great shows historically for the last 30 years, prematurely, in my opinion, because they say the ratings are down, right? Tony Robbins did a show on NBC called Breakthrough with Tony Robbins, and they did 4 episodes. I love them. Tony was helping people turn their lives around financially and relationship-wise with their partners.
Somebody bumped their head.
And they're still going, huh?
Yeah, he's fine.
I heard a thump.
That was Bochy's head.
Well, his head must be as hard as a rock.
It's like a bowling ball.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Boy,
Your head
oh
is
boy.
pretty hard too, baby.
Yeah.
You've headbutt me by mistake before, and it actually hurt.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I do. I'm hard-headed. I'm stubborn.
Yeah, but so after those 4 episodes, NBC canceled the show, but they had already recorded a total of 6 episodes. NBC didn't air the last 2. The last 2 were aired exclusively on Hulu. And back in those days, yes, there was a paid aspect of Hulu, I think, without commercials, but the ad version was free. Remember back in the early days of streaming, you could use a service like Hulu for free as long as you watched ads. If you wanted, no ads, you paid some money. Now, even the ad-supported versions cost money. They're just about half the price of the ad-free versions. But anyway, so after watching those shows, it really, really started to change my outlook on personal development and self-help gurus. Now, do I still think some self-help gurus are a joke? And in my opinion, some of them can be scam artists. I'm not mentioning any names. I'm not defaming anyone here. I'm just saying, in my opinion, some of them, have done some scammy things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the key way to phrase that is saying, in my opinion, because I am not accusing them of any crime or anything, right? When you're in the middle of a defamation case, even if you're the plaintiff, now you start to really emphasize the phrase, in my opinion. And
that goes for myself and all of the executives in our team. We've all had to change that language because people are very sensitive. And so you have to make sure they feel as if you're not talking to them directly.
Yeah. There's a difference between saying, I think you robbed the bank, but I have no proof. So, I'm not accusing you of that, but I think you did it.
Like, it's suspect you have a lot of extra money, or you just bought a nice sports car.
Right. It's the context. If you come out and say something like, like I believe you robbed the bank, and then you add no other context besides that, in essence, that could be considered defamatory.
Mm-hmm.
It could be perceived as a false statement as fact. So you got to be real careful with how you phrase things, right?
Absolutely.
But so personal development is the main reason why I wanted to start the GNA. Yes, the GNA initially and still is partially a networking organization for business entrepreneurs. But we have opened it up to everyone now since we, moved from running in-person networking events. We stopped running in-person networking events. I think it was around 2018 or 2019. It was a few years before COVID, like 2017. Yeah, actually, I think 2016. I think 2016 we stopped running the event. So it's been, gosh,
10 years.
Almost 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And since that time, I've had a presence out here on the YouTube end of things. And I've been focusing on, not only helping entrepreneurs, but also helping people personally overcome their fears, such as shyness is one of them. Like, overcome your fear of asking a lady out, or a lady asking a man out. Yes, some women do actually fear asking men out. And there's nothing wrong with that. They
fear that the man's going to then reject him because you became more, authoritative in the relationship. You became the man,
It depends. It depends on the man.
Yeah.
Like,
that's what I'm saying.
If you were to see me on the street and say, hey, are you single? I'd like to ask you out, this and that. I wouldn't come off thirsty or anything. In my younger days, I would be thirsty, right? I'd say, oh, yeah. Right? But what I would say is, so you're asking me out. Oh, wow. Why do I deserve a date with you? Tell me why I deserve a date with you. You just saw me on the street. I'll be playful with it, right? I would basically give you the opposite of what you would expect most other men to do. Most other men would be like, yeah, let me get your number, right? They'd be thirsty, right? But I would crack a joke with you.
See,
I would make you work harder to close the deal, not because I want to, because men coming off as thirsty is very unattractive to women.
So let me tell you, as a woman, how that should be handled.
Okay.
So if a woman sees a man on the street, like you said, or from across the room somewhere, and she goes up and says, hey, like she doesn't have to act thirsty. She just be like, hey, you seem like a nice person. Would you like to get some coffee? Start there. If they're interested, what I think should be done is that man should say, well, thank you. Here's my card. Why don't you give me a call when you'd like to do that? So it doesn't close the door for that coffee. It then throws it back into her court. She's not, just leaving it up to him. He turns it around to her.
Something really playful. It'd be a little bit cocky, but it's not arrogant. Women don't like arrogance. They like cockiness. Like,
we don't like to be questioned.
If you were to say, hey, I saw you walking down the street. You're an attractive man. Do you want to go on a date with me sometime? I could come back and flip it and say, why do you deserve a date with me? And then you would look at me funny. I'd say, just playing. And
I would look at you and I would walk away.
No. Hold on. This has to be in sequence quick. I would say that as a joke, and then I would say, just kidding, just playing. My name is Eli. Nice to meet you. Now, if that scares you off and you can't take a joke, then you're probably not the right woman for me. But do you see?
Yes.
I made you think about it. I wasn't thirsty. I was like, wow. Okay. Hey, tell me, why do you think you deserve a date with me? And you'd be like, just playing, just kidding. My name is Eli. Nice to meet you.
That would be kind of fun.
I would say, I don't usually I don't get approached like this much. So it kind of shocked me a little bit. And then you start you start a conversation. It all starts with a conversation.
Absolutely.
But here's the thing. Every other guy is going to approach you in the same exact way. The one you're going to probably choose is the one that stands out. And the one that has the balls to say a funny line like that is going to probably make you go, oh, this guy's arrogant. And then you can say, just kidding. Then it makes it from arrogant to cocky. Right? And cocky, playful, funny, women love that shit. Women love cocky.
We like to laugh.
They love to laugh. Yeah. Women love cocky men.
We don't love cocky men. Rephrase that.
No.
We like men that can make us laugh.
Well, not cocky all the time. Men that can crack jokes like cocky, playful, funny, not cocky, arrogant. You're thinking cocky with arrogance. I'm thinking cocky with funny jokes and having the balls to call you out and say something to you that most guys would think would ruin their chances with women. It's the confidence saying, hey, if you don't like my style, I can walk away and find someone else who will give me the time of day. If someone thirsty comes and approaches you and just caves and says, oh, yeah, okay, what's your number? That's not going to do anything for you. Mm-hmm. You're going to remember the one person that stands out. And this is something, like, I've done a lot of dating videos and given a lot of dating advice in the past. And we're going to get back to doing that as well. This is some pretty good dating advice. And we want to help everyone, including the people that are struggling the most, the people that are shy or timid. We want to help you overcome that so you can ask people out. You can start going on dates. You can stop being lonely. You can get over your fear of public speaking and then, start a YouTube channel or create videos or podcasts on the internet. I mean, people are even afraid to do that. Everything now is going online.
Yeah.
And if you're afraid to do public speaking or anything, you're going to be giving up 90+% of all future types of revenue. Mm-hmm. Which is going to come from the internet eventually. I mean, most of it's coming from there now anyways, but it's going to be even more.
Yeah.
Almost everything, right?
Yeah.
So in 2026, what we're going to start doing here at the GNA, you can tell me what you think, is really helping people overcome their shyness, overcoming their fears, overcoming their biggest fear, which is rejection, right, baby?
I feel that a lot of people fear that. That was a tongue twister.
A lot of people fear that?
A lot of people feel and fear that.
A lot of people feel and fear that. Okay.
They feel it.
Yeah.
And so and then that causes the fear. But I was going to say something about, you were talking about a woman approaching a man. So, back in Hollister, I know I always go back to my bar days, but that was my life.
Mm-hmm.
There was a bar there that everybody went to, and then the owner decided to sell it. And she sold it to this very, very good looking man, and like big, tall, muscular, just gorgeous man. Well, every woman in town was throwing themselves at him. And do you know, that gave that man way too much arrogance, because he's like, I can get any one of these ladies here, you know? And that backfired on women, because it's like, he did not want the thirsty bitches. He eventually found the right woman that wasn't just thirsty for his attention or his love or his money.
When you have a very attractive man that's also very financially successful and he's just a down-to-earth, decent person, his value is through the roof to women. So women are going to start being thirsty in the same ways that men are thirsty, to women, right?
Well, just think about like a musician going on the road and stuff like that, with their fans. And it's still.
Yeah. The man is going to be like, okay, I've got 100 women throwing themselves at me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They're all exactly the same. What if you're that one that is standing out? Just like
what makes you different from all the women throwing their bras on stage?
You know why you stood out? Because you weren't afraid to be yourself and speak your truth.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times you've said some things out of your mouth that are considered things that, in my opinion, that mostly men would say. So the fact that you had the balls to just come out and be that raw and real, that was the attractive thing to me. I'm like, there's something different about her.
You know what it is.
Everyone else is the same. She's unique. She's interesting. She's smart, and yeah, you're a beautiful woman, and you are very beautiful, but
there
are a lot of beautiful women out there. So looks alone are not going to do it for me and a guy like, the guy you're talking about. Yeah, it helps.
Yeah.
It helps. But it's about, what do you bring to the table mentally and emotionally? Mm-hmm. What do you bring to the table mentally and emotionally? And that's something we can help you better understand, especially if you're younger. When you get older, most people, learn that as they get older. But even then, some people still struggle understanding the difference between physical attraction and the mental and emotional connection, right?
Yeah.
Physical attraction, you're going to have short flings. You can turn the emotion off, whatever, right?
Yeah.
You want something sustainable and long term, you've got to have a deeper bond than the looks. It has to be mentally and emotionally bonding and connecting. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, when I was on Match and I saw your profile, of course, there was attraction. There always has to be that kind of.
Sure, I get it.
Instinctual attraction. Like, okay, I can see myself with this person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then what's the clutch is having him actually sell himself as the person I see on the screen.
Having a conversation. Yeah.
Yeah. Just don't be arrogant, be humble, and have a conversation with me on an equal level. Not that you're better than me.
Right. No, absolutely. Absolutely. We're at 44, almost 45 minutes.
Can I take my first break
We're halfway through. You want to take your first break right now?
Yeah, since we're halfway through.
Okay, let me go ahead and turn off the camera. Dawn is going to step away and take probably her only break because it's a shorter show today. While Dawn takes her break, let me remind all of you, or if you're new here, let me make you aware that if you're listening to us on the Audio Only Network. We're on Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, My Lady's Favorite, iHeartRadio. We're on Amazon's Audible. Amazon has music and Audible, 2 different ways to pump out podcasts. We're also on YouTube Music. And we're also on many others that are not as known, the unknown podcast networks. Just do a Google search for Don and Eli Take on the World podcast, and you'll see everywhere that we're at. If you're listening to us audio only and you would like to view the video version, which is the exact same audio with just video, we actually take the video and we rip the audio from the video. We record this in video, and then we rip the audio into a separate MP3 file, and then we upload that to the podcast hosting company that we use. And if you're there and you want to check us out, go to the description of wherever you're listening to this audio only. About halfway down, you see the link to this show's video. That'll link you back to our main channel, GNA, Genuine Personal Development. When you're there, please subscribe, bang the bell, and select the notifications so you don't miss anything. Then also, while you're viewing the podcast there, go in the description section, and you will see a couple lines down the link to our secondary channel, GNA2, Genuine Live Personal Development, where I go live, if not every day, almost every day. I do Walking with Purpose streams. They're typically an hour to 2 hours long, sometimes a little bit longer. Sometimes I've walked even almost 3 hours, but usually it's about an hour to 2 hours. And, we have a topic, but it's pretty much a free-for-all. People can come and ask any questions regarding personal development, self-help, dating advice. Sometimes we talk about politics. Sometimes we talk about business. The GNA, we help people personally and professionally. So those streams have a topic, but they're mainly informal. And as long as you're being mean and you're not trolling or making hateful comments or attacking people, we'll let you stay and chat. If not, we'll ban you. Make sure you subscribe, bang the bell, and select all notifications. You'll see the link to GNA2 again about a couple lines down in the podcast video. After clicking that link from the description section of the audio only, anywhere this is audio only. And then we also do some other live streams at times from the studio on the GNA2 channel. Sometimes we do On the Couch with Don and Eli. Sometimes we do Driving with Purpose. Sometimes it's with Don. Sometimes it's just with me. Lots of content. You want more of us? You want to become a part of us? You want to start feeling better about yourself? Let me turn on the camera. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. You want to, start to better yourself. You want to start putting yourself around positive, inspirational, like-minded people that are going to treat you like family. That's what we're all about, and that's key. Welcome back.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about another situation. What? So before I met Eli, and I was dating my ex-boyfriend at the time, but we were kind of at the end. We knew it was kind of coming to an end.
You remind me of Boys to Men, The End of the Road.
Yeah. I want to sing it, but I won't.
End of the Road, yeah.
I know I still want to sing it, but I won't.
We belong together.
You said you weren't singing.
And you know that I'm right.
You said no singing.
Why do you play with my heart? Why do you play with my moon?
Okay, you ruined that. But anyways.
At least the Shure SM7B will make me sound as good as possible. But anyway, go ahead.
All right. So I was working at a golf course. And every Friday night they had music. And so
every Friday night there's a steady cloud of dust that leads back to a field filled with pickup trucks. Got old Hank cranking way up loud. Got coolers in the back, tailgates down. There's a big fire burning
But don't be
But
alarmed.
don't be alarmed. It's just country boys and girls getting down on the
farm.
farm.
Anyways, back to me.
Okay. Every Friday night.
They had a band in, and I got off work about 9:30. And so I went in there, some friends were in there, and I just sat at the table, just watching him up there. And there were all these women dancing around on the dance floor. And I'm just sitting there at the table and I'm just watching him. But, he made eye contact. And then he came up to me after the show and he said, I rarely ever have a connection like that when I'm on stage.
Mm-hmm.
But the eye contact was something. And then we wound up, it wasn't like a sexual thing. It wound up being a great friendship. It was like he could see that I wasn't there to throw myself at him, to break up his marriage, to do anything like that. We became great friends just by making eye contact.
You know what's interesting? I know who you're talking about. We used to go to their shows. Here's the thing, and I don't care if these people that watch us from the creator that I'm suing in a circuit civil case. He has lots of people that also create content. And years ago, when we used to go watch, you're talking about your friend George. He used to have a band called Steel Horse, right?
Yes.
So I'm mentioning this because those people will see our podcast.
Yeah.
And they'll mention that, Dawn locked eyes with George from Steel Horse and she wanted George from Steel Horse, even though you just clearly said you didn't.
Yeah.
They'll spin that out of context. And it's just really, really stupid.
It is.
When you were sharing that story, I knew you were talking about George and you had told me the story, but you had never come out and talked about you locked eyes when you first saw him, and it wasn't anything sexual, like you said. It was just you're having a good time and, you're just two good people,
Yeah. And then it wasn't until the band returned for another show that we actually just connected on social media. And so, I accepted him as a friend on Facebook. He did the same. And it's just a friendship that, we just developed, and he's living happily.
And guess what? In Texas, right?
Yeah, he's living happily in Texas.
We were talking about all my exes live in Texas, and your mother lived there for a while, right? With you, right?
Yes.
And now, everyone's moving to Texas because they can't fucking afford California anymore.
That's the truth.
That's a big what, baby? That's a big what?
Truth bomb.
Ooh. Bomb.
That was bad.
One more time. What's that?
It's a truth bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, babe.
No, that's kind of the end of my story, but it goes to show, when you actually make eye contact with people, the connections you make, a bunch of people jumping around and waving their hands. You ain't going to connect with them. They're not making that connection. So, but when you actually look at people and they feel seen, that makes a huge difference.
No, absolutely.
And that goes with self-help, on yourself.
I was going to say, baby, who sings that song, one of your favorite, Down on the Farm.
Down on the Farm.
Huh?
Yeah, Down on the Farm.
You know who sings that?
Mm-hmm.
Who is that?
I'm not going to say.
Why not?
They don't need to know who my favorite is.
Oh, isn't his wife Faith Hill?
Yeah.
Yeah, she loves Faith Hill. Yeah. Yeah, wasn't it This Kiss, This Kiss?
Yes.
That was Faith, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Maybe that was for George, not for George, for John.
For Tim?
Not for Tim, not for Tim. I'm all over the place right now. I've got so much. It's not JMM, John Michael Montgomery. It's Tim McGraw. Tim McGraw's married to Faith Hill. I've got, there's so much going on in my head right now. And I was a big 90s country fan, even though I've always lived here in the Bay Area. I still am. It was one of the best eras for country. And when you hear Tim McGraw, you also, John Michael Montgomery, Clay Walker, Garth Brooks, Alan Jackson, Brooks and Dunn.
George Strait.
George Strait, Faith Hill,
Reba McEntire.
Reba McEntire was huge.
Queen.
She still is.
I get goosebumps. She's a queen.
Yeah, Reba, what an incredible woman. She's like almost another Dolly Parton, with the exception that she doesn't have the
enhancements.
The large enhancements. Let's say that right. In fact, they're quite the opposite.
Yeah, but Dollies are real.
Yeah, she got a reduction
earlier
in life because they were so massive that she was having back problems and she couldn't.
Well, and she's such a tiny, petite woman.
My God.
Like, her tits probably weighed more than her body weight.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Yeah. You just imagine putting like 2 10 or 15-pound dumbbells attached to the front of your body, right?
Yeah.
Right? Oh, my God.
And you wonder why a lot of women kind of go hunch a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it is true that we have more osteoporosis in general, but still, it's that weight that they were carrying in the front so much. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a shame, but you know, it is one of the things you got to deal with being a woman.
Absolutely.
And I wouldn't change it.
Yeah. So, I started going to all these networking events, continuing the story of the GNA. What really fuels me, I love networking. I love being around people. Yes, doing business, you have to do business. You have to make money to pay your bills, which I have. But again, what I really enjoyed more about networking than just finding my next clients or power partners to refer me business was being around people and not only learning from them, but them learning from me. We learn from each other. When you become a self-employed entrepreneur, you're on your own. You're your own boss. Mm-hmm. And if you don't make money, your bills don't get paid.
You got to find your clients and the people that will work with you.
So you're your own advertising agency. You're your own
advocate.
You're your own everything. Now, when you get big enough, you can hire people, but initially you don't have the money to hire anyone. You're doing everything yourself. So it can be pretty scary. And what we want to do here at the GNA is make you aware it's not scary to make that transition, even during this time where in theory, the economy is not that great, and it's really not that bad. It's not as bad as people are saying it is, but it yes, what Trump has done and still does affects it. It's going to come back. But even in this economy, there's so much opportunity for somebody to leave their corporate day job or working for someone else and becoming self-employed. The opportunities are endless. And we can help you overcome any fears that you have. And we can share with you, through our years of experience. I've been an entrepreneur. I've been self-employed for like 16 plus years now. So, I know the risks. I took the risks. I've done all of this. You can actually make it fun. You'll be nervous at first when you start hanging around people within a networking organization, because that's what we are. We're a networking association, right? We're a networking organization, right? You're going to feel a little nervous because you're going to be new and you're going to be wondering whether you're going to be accepted or not. Here's the thing. We accept everyone at the GNA as long as you're not trolling us, as long as you're not attacking us, as long as you're not defaming us, as long as you're not
you have no malice intent.
Yeah, if you have no malice intent and you're not difficult to deal with, if you're a reasonable, down-to-earth person, no matter how shy you are, no matter how many mistakes you make, we accept you.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because our purpose is to help you better learn to identify those mistakes, and through us making the same mistakes, sharing with you what we did to correct them, and you'll get that information and learn the lesson much quicker than we did because you have us as your tool, right?
Yeah, and you could also rely on us to help you find the associations that you might need for your assistance. We could guide you in the right direction. Obviously, if we can't do anything for you, we'll have those resources for you.
Yeah. Yeah. But, one of the biggest things that people struggle with is just putting themselves out there. You cannot accomplish anything in life unless you take a chance and you put yourself out there.
And I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Yeah.
But if you do have that anxiety, then you can always email Elias. And that way you're not putting things out on the internet. You're speaking to him directly. So, that's another avenue to take if you'd like our help and not be exposed.
Yeah. There's this YouTube channel and this creator and his business. I've been following him for years. Sean Cannell runs the Think Media company. And he's always said, all you have to do is you start by just pressing record. It's a figure of speech. Yes, you can press record. You can also press go live. The point that Sean has made over the years by saying that and repeating that, because repetition's a mother of skill, right? You don't learn things when you hear them the first time. When you hear it over and over and over again, you're like, oh, there's a purpose to it. And the purpose to what he's saying is to make you aware that everyone is shy and nervous and makes a lot of mistakes when they first start. You're never going to overcome that unless you start. Start now so you can start making those mistakes. And you'd be surprised how quickly you'll get the hang of it. And then not only will you not be afraid to do it anymore, you'll be less shy or not shy at all or not scared at all. You're going to be addicted to doing it. You get addicted to doing it because you overcame something that not only you, but everyone has initially feared.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. And so just like Sean Cannell says, just hit record. Just start whatever you want to accomplish in life. Just start doing it.
And I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I think the best way for you to face that shyness is to just hit record in your room, in your house. Just record, watch it back, work on it. You don't have to put it out there until you feel comfortable. Many musicians do that. They will sing their songs in the mirror and make a decision if that song's going to work for them or not.
Yeah, Sean Cannell still has his original Sean Cannell channel. And every now and then he'll play the very first video he made. And he was like, 15, 16 years younger. He's like 40, 41 now. He was like 24, 25. And he looked like a hippie. Like, you can tell he grew up and he's got a great wife. And let me tell you, having a good woman in your life keeps you grounded as a man. Because men without a woman tend to
without
act
a
like
woman.
What's that?
Without a woman. You said without a woman, but it's a woman.
Woman. Okay. Well, it's spelled WOMAN.
For a single woman, like just for one woman.
Right.
And it's women for multiple.
When you have a woman in your life, she grounds you. And when you don't have a woman in your life, a lot of times, even as men get older, sometimes, they get lonely and bored and miserable, and then they start acting like a little kid to fill in the void.
Well, yeah, they get stuck in their ways.
Mm-hmm.
They're not willing to adapt. So then they become a child that is like mine, and you don't want to share. Right.
But, anything that you want to accomplish in life, the only person holding you back is yourself. And even if you don't reach tremendous success right away, if you believe in what you're doing, keep going. I've been doing this for 8+ years now. I haven't made a whole lot of money. Again, I hate to say it, a lot of that has to do with the smear campaign that has basically, kept people from wanting to either collaborate with myself or anyone here that's part of my team, including my lady, or it's kept people away from wanting to watch our videos, donate to us, recommend people to us. It's also shifted the YouTube algorithm in the favor of the people that are smearing me and have smeared us instead of they're pumping out our content. YouTube's recommending our content to our haters instead of the audience that we're truly, doing the content for.
Yes.
Right. So don't give up. We have not given up. We know 2026 is finally going to be our year here at the GNA. I've been saying that for the last several years. And the haters out there have been saying, oh, you said 2023 was going to be the year for you, 2024, 2025. Well, we've made short strides. We've put a lot of things into place.
And things take time.
What's that?
And things take time.
Well, everything that we've done the last couple of years to better protect the business. We became a limited liability company. We got a business license. We didn't even know we needed that initially. We always had our federal employer identification number and tax ID and all that stuff and the seller's permit, but I didn't know we needed the other aspects. And so we tightened that up. And then the smear campaign and people that were violating our copyright. We had lots of people violate our copyright and and cause us reputational harm. We started fighting that in court. We didn't want to go to court, but we had no other choice. We've been doing things to allow us to grow to the level of where we were meant to grow. So I'm only mentioning this because a lot of people say, hey, you've been doing this 8 years. Isn't it time to stop and give up and do something else? No, because we're about to hit gold, figuratively speaking. We're about to take off like a rocket. Sometimes it takes years for something to take off because there are other underlying things that need to be resolved and taken care of before you can really grow. And I feel we are practically at that level right now. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
So I'm saying don't give up. I'm saying a lot of people say, hey, if you do something for a year or two, and it's not getting you the traction. A lot of people on YouTube, they'll make a video every day for 120 days, and then they don't get a lot of traction. They have 100 subs, they're getting 10 to 50 to 100 views per video, and they're like, I've done this for 120 days or 200 days, and I'm gonna give up. It's not getting anywhere. You know how many Walking with Purpose streams I've done? Almost 1,200 in the last 5-6 years. Okay. And we're still nowhere where we want to be, right? But we believe in what we're doing. That's why we keep moving forward. On top of those, almost 1,200 Walking with Purpose live streams, I've done probably another 1,000 plus, pre-recorded videos. And then some other stuff. I've probably done close to 3,000 videos between live streams and pre-recorded content over the last, let's say, 7-8 years. I'm not giving up. If you're giving up after 100, 200 videos, you're giving up on yourself. And you're not doing it for the right reason. You're doing it because you just want to be a famous YouTuber and make easy money. I'm not doing this because I want to be a famous YouTuber or make easy money. I'm doing this because I want to reach as many people as possible. Same with Don, because we know we can truly help people turn their lives around. We're not driven by money. We need money to survive. And yes, we do want to make more money, because if not, then at some point, maybe 5-6 years from now, we might say, hey, if it's not getting anywhere in another 5 or 6 years, maybe at that point you scale back, but never give up, because you never know when it will take off.
Yeah, but also ride that fine line of doing something over and over and over again without getting any different results.
Oh, you're talking about the definition of insanity, is doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result.
Yeah,
right?
if it's taking you longer than you expected, sit back and look. Am I doing the same thing? What's not working with this or that? It's just, a lot of self-reflection there as to why there's no progress.
And Don's exactly right. And that's, a few years back, that's exactly what I started to realize. I really, listen, I'm not trying to blame 100% of the lack of our success due to the smear campaign. I will say it's about 80-85% though.
Mm-hmm.
I will say it's about 80-85% because for you folks that haven't seen what's been done to us, or you haven't looked into the court case that I filed around 3 months ago, you're not going to know the severity. But you have to be consistent. You have to keep putting out content. You have to do it because you love doing it, not just because you want to make money doing it. And I have done that, consistently for the last 8 years, regardless of what's going on, regardless of the smear campaign against us or against me. I've just kept moving forward because I knew at some point it's going to turn around. And again, I realized a couple of years ago that, hey, sometimes, you evaluate yourself. I'm like, I'm doing everything as best as possible. I used to get a lot of people before this person got involved and started smearing me. Ever since he's done that at the level he does it all day, every day in a very stalkerish and obsessive way, in my opinion, we have not been able to penetrate the market that I used to penetrate initially when I started 8+ years ago. So I realized the only way that I'm ever going to, as long as this guy is alive and smearing me and using his audience of people to do it, the only way that we're going to have a chance to really grow on social media, especially on YouTube, is to go to court and have them hold him accountable. Because hey, I've tried to be reasonable. We've tried to be reasonable. And this guy's not reasonable. He's absolutely not reasonable. He has amped things up even more so since this case started. And this case has been active for almost like around 3 months now, right? And he's doing worse stuff now than he did before I sued him. And if you're a circuit civil judge and you're seeing this, right, you have to wonder what's going on in a judge's head that sees someone that amps things up for YouTube theatrics in an active court case. I don't think it's going to fly too well. So sometimes you have to analyze what's going on and realize that, yes, part of it may be what you're doing. In my case, the majority of what's going on is a smear campaign. And truth of the matter is, Dawn's best friend from Hollister and a guy she was seeing during that time that her friend's still friends with, I guess they're not seeing each other anymore, but that's not a big deal. They saw what was happening on the internet. We mentioned this story before. We'll say it again. They saw what was happening on the internet, on YouTube. When I first met Dawn, they looked into me. They saw all those videos, and they actually believed that I did and said everything that they were saying. A lot of stuff was taken out of context. This smear campaign almost cost me my relationship. Now, I don't think Dawn was gonna leave. I mean, if there was something that she might have believed, who knows? She did ask me about it.
Oh, yeah.
And I explained everything to her. And now she's been with me 4 years. And now she understands it.
Yeah, yeah.
And then she lived it because we give a few people a chance from that group. We connected closely with them. And they screwed Dawn over. Dawn connected with a few people from that group because they were at least somewhat reasonable during that time. We gave them a chance. And while Dawn was in recovery, from her health issues back then, this was, she wanted people to talk to. But what ended up happening was these people took everything that Dawn said or shared through like Facebook Messenger and voice messages. And once we had to let them go and not be friends with them anymore. They exposed all that stuff on YouTube. And so, yeah, it's been a very, very interesting ride. But the point of why I'm saying this and sharing these examples is there are so many excuses you can make to give up on your dream. You should never let anyone get in the way of your goals, dreams, and aspirations. That includes your significant other. That includes your family, your mother, your father, brothers, sisters, any other friends. You have to believe in yourself. Many people have told me to not do the YouTube thing. Family members in the past have said that. They haven't said it recently, which is nice, but they've said it many times in the past. You even questioned me about it a few times too in the past. And that hurt, but we're good. I understand why you did. Many of the haters and even legitimate people have questioned it. And while I was hearing all this was years ago, before I became even stronger on YouTube. It hurt a little bit. But I said, in my head, I said, fuck these people. If they don't like me or don't think I should be doing this, then you know what? They made their point that they can mind their own business. I'm going to keep moving forward. The more and more people told me to not do it, the more and more it fueled me harder to do it.
Yeah.
And see, that's what I think is happening to this defendant in this case. It seems like the more and more I hold him accountable, the more and more he feels like he has to do one of his online retaliatory games or smear me more as retaliation. But every time he does that now in the middle of ongoing litigation, it's more evidence for the judge and the jury if we get to trial, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I get it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So use other people's negativity and hatred towards you, or even if they're not hating on you and they're trying to discourage you from continuing, forward with any goals, dreams, or aspirations you have. Like for me, it's a GNA and making content and moving it forward. You know what? Take that as fuel to keep moving forward. Tell them thank you for your opinion. Thank you for your thoughts. I understand where you're coming from. At this time, I'm not ready to give this up. I believe in myself. I believe in my vision, and I really want to make something out of this.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And if they keep pushing it, then just walk away, and then it'll fizzle out. They might bring it up a month or 2 or 6 months later. If they do again, then just let them know, hey, you know what? I'm still pushing forward. I still believe in myself. Thank you for your thoughts again. And if they keep pushing it after a while and it becomes harassing, depending on if they're family or friends, you could always part ways with certain people. I wouldn't part ways with family members unless they do something really, really, really bad. But, with people, if they're not treating you right, non-family that's not treating you right, just people that are not a part of your family not treating you right, you can always walk away. Now, in this day and age, you've got to be careful, because if you walk away from somebody and let's say you met them from the online world, or even if not, and they have a big internet presence and you do too, and let's say you've been talking privately, they're going to try to retaliate on you. That's what I hate about this internet world. People nowadays, when you have reason to walk away from certain people that are creating too much drama and hatred and issues, you just want to walk away, not because you necessarily hate them, because you just don't want to be a part of their drama. It's for your own mental health and sanity. When you walk away from those people, they get extremely angry because they're dealing with their own mental and emotional issues. Now they're going to teach you a lesson by supposedly exposing you on the internet just for walking away because you don't want to deal with drama, right? Right? And so you have to learn to deal with that and understand that that's going to happen. And that's all a part of, becoming a better person. That's all a part of, moving any business vision forward. That's all part of also, finding the right partner in life. You are in control of your own journey and your own destiny. And no one else is. No one else is. You can create for yourself whatever you want.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No. You're good.
Yeah, no, I've been talking for a while. I kind of went on the roll. We're at an hour and 20 minutes. We're going to start wrapping this up in about 5 to 7 minutes here. Since we're getting low on time, let me just ask you this. If you had to pick one thing about the GNA that you like the most, and of course, it's something that, I started and we're now building it together. That's the obvious thing. I'm looking for things that aren't as obvious, obviously, right? Mm-hmm. What's the one aspect of the GNA for you that's made the biggest difference, if at all?
I would say it's helped in obviously a way of support. Not only have I had Eli as my boyfriend, but also somebody that can help me, has had experience. And as well as our other executives. They might not have the same experiences that we have, but that's the best thing. We lean on each other in the times that we need them, and that's great to have that camaraderie, friendship, and
camaraderie.
Yes. And all that. That's great. That's what's really helped me, in the GNA.
Yeah, I will agree with you. The friendships that I've made through the GNA and networking in general, but we are a networking organization. That's what we are. But we're not just a networking organization or association for business like we used to be, focused primarily on entrepreneurs. We still do focus on entrepreneurs, but we also focus on the average everyday person, and everyone's the average everyday person. I'm not trying to exclude anyone or include anyone and say other people are better than others. I'm not saying that, but we wanted to open it up because everybody needs help and everybody wants to be a part of something. We want to give you the opportunity to be a part of something that's not going to cost you anything. There's no paid membership. I don't even know if we will ever do that. Maybe down the road we might have like an optional paid membership that gives you exclusive additional benefits. But any average everyday person, even if you have no money, can come and watch our videos. And, look, we're monetized on both our channels. We'll get a little ad revenue, which doesn't cost you anything. You watch an ad, you watch us for free, you learn from us and become a part of our community. In 2026, I want to expand. I need to get back to working on the GNA website. And really, I started working on it earlier this year, and then all these lawsuits started happening, and it's been on the back burner. GenuineNetworkingAssociation.org is the website, but you can also go to GNAnetwork.org, GNANETWORK.org. It's a shorter version. It'll redirect you to GenuineNetworkingAssociation.org. I'm also going to be giving all of our executives and any leaders a GNAnetwork.org email, which is a lot easier to write out and remember than Don at GenuineNetworkingAssociation.org. It's better and shorter to use Don at GNAnetwork.org or whatever we decide. I have the domains, bought them about a year ago or so. We're going to get that all into play. We're going to have probably our own self-hosted forum on our website. Either that or we're going to get a Reddit forum going. I'm going to put it out there. Our forums are going to be highly moderated wherever they're at, because these trolls and haters from the guy I'm suing and his amplifiers and people acting in concert, working with them, they're going to try to ruin whatever we do. Especially now, they're triggered because we're in court and we're holding them accountable. But don't let that stop you. Don't let this person or his group or other trolls or haters stop you from being part of a legitimate group. We truly want to help you. We truly want to give you a place that you can call your second home. You know, we want to be your second home. Now, if you have a second home or a third home, then we want to be your third or
yeah, your hypothetical.
Yes, we want to be your home away from home. That's a better way to put it, because if you have like 10 homes and you're just filthy rich, then we say home away from home.
Yes.
Not, we want to be your 11th home because you have 10. Right?
Yes.
I know it's a figure. I get it. We want you to feel safe and comfortable and feel important, where every single one of us is important. Look.
And sometimes it's a lot easier to do that with somebody that you don't have a personal relationship with.
Right. No, you're right. And see, we can be that neutral third party. We're going to treat you like family, but we don't know, anyone that you know that you may be having issues with. We can give you neutral third party advice based on our past experiences that can help you better handle things. We can give you a place where you can have a voice. where you can have a voice. Don and I also want to interview more people, on the podcast in 2026. I don't know if we're going to get a chance to interview some more people before the new year. I'm going to leave it up to Don. I know Don's working on some stuff with the GNA executives and all that. But we want to start to interview somebody, preferably every week, if not at least, 2 times a month. We do an interview. The other 2 times it's Don and I. So if you're interested in an interview with us, you can email me right now. It's eliasmelas at genuinenetworkingassociation.org. Go below in the description, copy and paste it so you don't misspell it or get flustered that it's too long and you don't want to type something out that long. You just copy and paste it. Or go to the About section of our YouTube channel if you're there from a laptop or desktop. If not, just go to the description section, either in the podcast, the audio-only podcast network, it's there, and same with the YouTube description as well. So that's that. All right, baby. Anything else? Because we're going to start wrapping this up. If not,
no. Let's go ahead.
An hour and 27 minutes. Wonderful.
Perfect.
There's probably there is a lot more, but you folks are getting the idea. We're here to help you better yourself. We're here to help you overcome your hurdles, your objections, overcome your shyness, overcome your fear of public speaking, overcome your fear of asking people out on a date. We're here to help you overcome your setbacks so you can reach success. With that being said, baby, it is now time to start wrapping what? Things? All right. Excuse me. You've been listening to the Don and Eli Take on the World podcast. This has been episode number 35, and the topic was, what is the GNA and big plans for 2026? One more time. Episode number 35 of the Don and Eli Take on the World podcast was, what is the GNA and big plans for 2026? Now, baby, we're going to remind them, if they're listening to us audio only throughout the audio only podcast network, such as Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, and your very favorite
iHeartRadio.
One more time.
iHeartRadio.
Again.
And iHeartRadio once again.
She loves saying iHeartRadio.
I was just listening to it earlier.
Oh, wonderful. What a great endorsement. When you search for us on Google, you see iHeartRadio towards the top. Don Eli Take on the World podcast. All right, so wherever you're listening to us, even on YouTube Music or anywhere else on the audio only podcast network, even the unknown ones, the less popular ones, go below in the description section. and you'll see the link a few lines down to the video version of our podcast on our main YouTube channel, GNA, Genuine Personal Development. When you go there, subscribe, bang the bell, select the notifications so you don't miss anything. And then go in that description of that video, a couple lines down, you'll see the link to GNA2, Genuine Live Personal Development. And subscribe there because we go live there almost every day, if not every day, with multiple levels of content. With that being said, have a good one. Take care. And as always, baby, be good to each other.